Hello, and welcome back to another English lesson. Before we go too far, I do want to make sure you know that in this English lesson, we will be talking about things that probably only adults should be talking about. So, if you have a younger person who is watching this English lesson with you, maybe you want to skip this one. In this English lesson, we are going to talk about a letter President Trump could have written to a bad guy, like allegedly. And we will talk about that term in a little bit. But there is this guy named Jeffrey Epstein. And from what I understand, he is not that well known outside of the United States. But right now, this is the biggest news story in the United States. Jeffrey Epstein is dead now. He died in a jail cell. Some people say he killed himself. Other people say he did something else, like maybe somebody else killed him. I need to be careful what I say because YouTube might not like this too much. And he also did some very bad things with some very powerful people, and those things involved young girls. President Trump was friends with him at one time, but they had a falling out. If you have a falling out with someone, that means you are no longer friends with them. But there is this list, or there could be this list of very powerful people who were involved in Jeffrey Epstein. He was incredibly rich, and nobody knows exactly how he got rich. Did a government pay him to get these powerful people involved in things that they could blackmail them with? If you blackmail someone, it means you know somebody did something bad. You tell that person, I know you did something bad. If you don't pay me money or give me something I want, I am going to tell everyone you did that bad thing. Let's take a look at that news clip together, and then I will come back and teach you all of the difficult terms they use.
To Washington and the White House facing mounting bipartisan pressure to release documents related to the Jeffrey Epstein case. We're also learning new details about the letter the Wall Street Journal says Trump allegedly wrote to Epstein. The president saying the letter doesn't exist, now filing a $10 billion defamation lawsuit.
Mounting. I thought that would be the first word that might give you trouble. For each of these words, I'm going to have a picture. I'm going to have the official definition, and I will use it in a sentence. Mounting. Mounting means growing or increasing. The pressure on Trump is mounting after the new letter was shared in the news. Bipartisan. You will hear this quite a bit when talking about American politics. We have two political parties, the Republicans and the Democrats, at least the big political parties. If something is bipartisan, that means supported by both political parties. There was bipartisan agreement that the letter should be investigated. Jeffrey Epstein is in the thumbnail. Like when you clicked on the video, you saw him in the picture. There is another picture of him. Let's talk about exactly who he was. A rich man who was arrested for hurting young girls and later died in jail. Jeffrey Epstein was friends with many powerful people before his arrest. We have a big, powerful newspaper here in the United States called the Wall Street Journal, and they were the first to publish this article about the letter. A major U.S. newspaper that reports on news and business. The Wall Street Journal published the story about Trump's alleged letter. They use allegedly in the newscast. Allegedly, same word, just a different form. Allegedly means people say it happened, but it's not proven. Trump allegedly drew a picture for Epstein's birthday, but he says it's fake. Yeah, Trump says he did not do that.
To Washington and the White House facing mounting bipartisan pressure to release documents related to the Jeffrey Epstein case. We're also learning new details about the letter the Wall Street Journal says Trump allegedly wrote to Epstein. The president saying the letter doesn't exist, now filing a $10 billion defamation lawsuit. Here's ABC's senior White House correspondent, Selena Wang.
Tonight, President Trump pushing back, acknowledging his administration's move to unseal grand jury records in the case of convicted offender Jeffrey Epstein may never be enough to satisfy his critics. Trump writing on social media, even if the court gave its full and unwavering approval, nothing will be good enough for the troublemakers and radical left lunatics making the request.
Defamation. Defamation, that is when someone says something false or not true that hurts another person's reputation. So Trump is suing the Wall Street Journal for defamation. Trump said the story was defamation and wanted to sue. And when you sue somebody or you take them to court to get more money, it often looks like this: a lawsuit, a legal complaint taken to court. Trump's team filed a lawsuit against the newspaper. This is a good English phrasal verb you might hear in everyday English conversations: pushing back. Pushing back, that means disagreeing or fighting against something. He's pushing back hard against the news reports. In other words, he is saying, this is not true. I did not do this. We still have a few months left of summer, and for the rest of the summer, I am going to be offering one-on-one speaking classes. If you are having a tough time finding a speaking partner, I could be your speaking partner. You can sign up for 30-minute sessions or 60-minute sessions. I even have one coming up. I'm not sure if I should say her name. I won't say her name, but we get together every week for an hour and a half. If you would like to be my speaking partner, check out the comment section or the description box. There you will find a link where you can get more information. Now back to the English lesson. Unwavering. Unwavering. How about this sentence before we get the definition? I hope you have an unwavering commitment to learning English. So let's talk about what unwavering means. It means not changing, staying strong. She showed unwavering support for Trump no matter what was reported. And it is true that President Trump has a lot of people who are unwavering in their support. They will support him probably no matter what he does. What if somebody is described as radical? It means very extreme or different from usual ideas. And both Republicans and Democrats have their own radicals, people who are a little crazy. Some people thought that the drawing was too radical to believe. Lunatics. Lunatics, that is a great word to know. Well, it's rude. A rude word for people acting crazy. Person in the picture definitely looks like they are acting like a lunatic. Who knows? Maybe they are a lunatic all the time, or they're just acting like one there. He called his critics, those are people who say bad things about you. He called his critics lunatics who were spreading lies.
It will always be more. But much of the pressure to do more is coming from some of the president's longtime supporters.
I want every email from Epstein. Why not? Why not? Oh, it might embarrass people. I don't care. Don't care. We don't care now anymore. We're done.
Releasing the grand jury transcripts could be a long process and would not fulfill his team's campaign promises to release the full FBI files on Epstein.
The public is not clamoring for the release of a redacted version of the grand jury transcripts. They're calling for the release of the entire file.
Many of Trump's allies, including his FBI director Kash Patel and his deputy Dan Bongino, pushed Epstein conspiracies for years.
I don't trust any story they tell me about Jeffrey Epstein. There is a reason this client list is hidden.
Earlier this year, Attorney General Pam Bondi said she had that list. Then just weeks ago, the Justice Department and FBI said the list did not exist and that they would not release any more information about Epstein, sparking outrage from the president's base.
Clamoring is the next word. Clamoring, loudly asking or demanding. Reporters were clamoring for more information about the letter. Redacted. Redacted. If you take a look at that picture, that is a letter that has been redacted. Parts of something, like a letter, are covered or removed before sharing. The letter was partly redacted before it was shown to the public. Sometimes letters and lawsuits like these are redacted because the victims' names are in the letter and they don't want everyone to know who is a victim because they were underage. They were under 18 years old. Conspiracies. We have a lot of conspiracies in the United States, and you probably have some in your country too. Secret plans or ideas that something bad is happening. For example, some people say we never landed on the moon. It's a conspiracy. Please let me know in the comments. Do you think we landed on the moon July 20th, 1969? There are many conspiracies about Epstein and who knew him. Sparking. Now, this is a verb. In the picture, there is a spark between those two wires. That would be the noun. But in the newscast, they used the verb form of the word, and it means starting something. The news story is sparking anger and debate all over the internet. And I think in the news report, they say this is sparking outrage. Outrage means strong anger or shock. The public felt outrage after hearing about the birthday drawing.
Trump gave the order to his Justice Department to release the grand jury transcripts just hours after the Wall Street Journal reported on a letter Trump allegedly sent Epstein for his birthday in 2003. ABC News has not confirmed the existence of the letter. Trump is now filing a $10 billion defamation lawsuit against the paper, including its conservative owner Rupert Murdoch. In the lawsuit, Trump alleges the Journal falsely claimed that he authored, drew, and signed a letter to Epstein containing salacious language within a hand-drawn naked woman, which was created with a heavy marker, and that no authentic letter or drawing exists. Dow Jones, the parent company of the Wall Street Journal, says they are standing by their reporting. But Whit, it's going to be a while until the public sees any new information on this case. Grand jury testimonies are highly protected, and releasing them requires approval from a federal judge.
Okay, now we need to talk about this man, Rupert Murdoch. He is called conservative. Now, in my mind, that's basically just another way to say Republican. They're a little bit different, but not that much different. So the official definition, or at least my official definition, is just another name for Republican. Some conservative leaders supported Trump's denial, like he's saying he didn't do this, he's denying it, Trump's denial of the letter. But Rupert Murdoch owns the Wall Street Journal, and he's kind of a Republican. So he and Trump are kind of friendly. A man who owns many news companies, including the Wall Street Journal. Rupert Murdoch's company was blamed for the article. What if something is salacious? It is meant to be shocking or sexual. The story was called salacious because of the drawing's content. Yeah, the woman that people say Trump drew didn't have any clothes on. We might also say she's naked or she is nude. Is that letter authentic? We don't know. We might find that out in the lawsuit, probably many years from now. But authentic means real or true. Trump says the letter is not authentic. It's a fake. Grand jury, you will often hear this when it involves lawsuits or trials and judges and courtrooms. But a grand jury is a group of people who decide if someone should be charged with a crime. The grand jury looked at Epstein's past actions. Trump says he wants that testimony. Oh, We'll talk about testimony next. But the testimony from the grand jury, he wants that to be released by his attorney general. And her name is Pam Bondi. It's like the biggest lawyer for the country, the attorney general. Testimony: something someone says in court as evidence. The lawyer gave strong testimony about what really happened. Congratulations, you made it to the end of a rather difficult English lesson. If you're looking for more English lessons, right down there is another story where it involves Trump and the news. Also, don't forget, if you would like me as a speaking partner, check out the description box or the comments. There are a lot of good English teachers out there on YouTube. You picked me. That means so much. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.